we go. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you don't know your Moon and Rising sign, Scorpio, check the description box for a link to Always Astrology. That way, once you learn what those are, if this isn't enough information or you'd like more, you can always check out your Moon and Rising sign readings for the week and see if they help. This is for the week of June 6th to the 13th. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different spread using a different deck this week. I'll be using a 3-card spread using the Healing with the Angels Oracle and then drawing a card each for additional guidance from the Medicine Card Tarot and the Wisdom of the Oracle Tarot. I just really feel that the past couple of weeks that we've been doing readings here that we've been focusing a lot on intention and projects and motivation and that type of thing, planning and so forth. And I just want to inject a little bit of healing energy into people's lives this week. So I hope that you enjoy this style. You can always sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you like or don't like about it, or what you'd like to see me use as a reading with the decks. You can also find links to the decks that I'm using in the description box, as well as a link to my ebook and a little bit more information about me and why I do what I do. So Scorpio, I wish for you all success, joy, and wellness. I invoke spirits of love, light, and beauty. I call upon Archangels Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. All right, so these jumped out separately but kind of together. I am going to use these cards. Normally I use one jumper at a time, but one jumped and then another flipped around and then another flipped around in my hand as I tried to correct them. So I feel really confident going ahead and using these cards for you this week. Scorpio, can you see me there? Here we go. So I'm going to hold these up to the camera in just one moment. I am going to get a little feel for what we're using today. In the central position here, we have the card Friendship, and then to one side, Emerging, and then the other side, Surrender and Release. This is really beautiful. There's a lot of changes in the works, Scorpio. Not necessarily beginning this week, maybe they're coming to fruition this week. However, if they're not on the move already, or if they're not in the process of manifestation, this is going to be the week where you're going to feel some of this energy or start to recognize some of this energy is the way that you need to forge ahead. So some of the major interpretations here in the Friendship card is that friendships are changing. It's not always a bad thing, but like with anything, a door closes, another one opens. Changes in friendships mean your peer group. It's not necessarily relationships or jobs, but anytime there's a change in a friendship, particularly, right, in platonic friendships, this does mean that one of you has grown and the other hasn't. Okay, so if this is about a group, obviously it's about a member of the group not growing and so forth. But if it is between one or two of you, or a significant friendship in particular in your life, this just means that one of you is growing at a different rate, at a different level than the other, and one of you is going to make a move away from that relationship. It doesn't mean anything negative. It doesn't mean a fight has to happen. It doesn't mean you have to hate one another. It doesn't mean that you never talk again. In fact, it could be the most beautiful, explorative, freeing type of moving away from this type of friendship. So I do hope that it's you who's in charge of who's going to be walking away from this friendship. And I think it is the central position here. So this does mean this is you. And so if this is occurring in your world, please try not to cling. And try not to make too much more out of it than it already is. Things just are the way they are. And the reason I see that there's a lot of general movement here is the Emerging card. Emerging means whatever is already in motion that you've been working on, that's about propelling yourself to higher levels, higher standards, from awareness to money to travel to friendships, right? To relationships in general. Something is beginning to emerge, or something is in process of emerging and taking you to our higher place. And it's interesting with the sign Scorpio. Yes, one of your symbols is the scorpion, but there are two other, or sorry, there is one other animal that is associated with the Scorpio sign, and that is the eagle, believe it or not. And what they say about this is that there's the ground level, right? The Scorpio on the ground, which is base reaction, base results, base everything, like really hyper aware, hyper, okay, on the ground, feet on the ground. But there's the eagle, there's the flying high above everything. You've achieved great heights. You're able to see things other people aren't. So I do think that there is a development here for you, Scorpio, particularly this week. Again, whether it's not happened and you're just becoming aware of it, or it's starting to manifest because you've been taking pains to bring this about. It may have to do with more than just changes in friendships. However, emerging is about not only spiritual, but like I mentioned when I first started talking about the card, this could be in all areas or in a specific area of your life. This is a general reading, so whatever is most prominent in your life this week, perhaps that's what the focus will be here. For example, Scorpios around the world could be traveling. There could be business interactions. There could be lots of different things that are going on. So whatever is most prominent in your week, I'll get you to apply the emerging theme to that. And again, with friendship, if this is work, or if this is about travel or just interests, like group activities, for example, there could be some switch ups there. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I pointed out, I do think it does mean that someone is growing at a different rate, and it's a very positive thing. And then with the surrender and release on the other side, I think there could be, as there is for most human relationships, there could be an element of clinging, right? I want to cling to this. I don't want to let go. I'm not ready yet. These types of things might be popping up, even if they're subconscious, or even if you find that hard to admit. But there is a great need this week in order to get to the next level here, to what you need to emerge to what you're ready for, that you need to surrender two things: surrender and release. Surrender the ego, surrender having to know what's going to happen next, surrender being in charge of the unknown. Now, this is a different thing than being in charge of, your own life and your emotions. Like, yeah, that's your job, stay in charge of that. But surrendering the need to know what's going to happen next, to be in charge, is a little bit like having faith. It's a little bit like, I guess having faith is the best way to put that. So maybe faith is going to play a big factor here this week, particularly during these times of change. And then the term release. So release the need for control over this, release temptation to try to control this, release the habit or opinion or attitude, whatever it is this week that you feel when you contemplate those words. Whatever comes to mind when you contemplate surrender and release is probably in your life what you need to surrender and release and have some faith about. So again, let's look at these up close one by one. Here we have the friendship card. This is actually quite beautiful, even though the card meaning does mean an end of certain friendships and the beginning of another in the future, and maybe not even simultaneously. What is happening here is a great closeness, is a great togetherness. There's a great camaraderie here. There's a lot of affection, a lot of understanding. And you have a lot of things in common. So I think you might even just be at a stage in your life, or coming into a stage in your life where whether you're ready or not, right? This is going to be happening within your life, and it's going to be so beneficial and so beautiful, because you'll be relieved because of this, that you're meeting people and talking to people that you have more in common with because you've grown. And this is natural. This is natural in life. Again, with the emerging card, we have a little girl here who's sort of looking into the future. But this is all about things coming into fruition. Plans that were set however long ago have now taken root, and they're beginning to flower. This is about you getting over something to the next level of whatever that is for you this week. It's about being your best self in the best light for the best reasons. You're emerging from something that was holding you down, holding you back, or keeping you hostage. And then with the surrender and release, I will get you to contemplate these two terms this week. See, like I mentioned when we first looked at the card, what comes up emotionally or psychologically. Yeah, I guess more emotionally when you think of the terms surrender and release. Like I mentioned, it could be about an attitude, it could be about a set of behaviors, or it could be simply about, you know what, I'm going to have faith that this is going to turn out for the best. And focus on other issues or other great happenings in your life or other positive avenues in your life, even if it's one other positive attitude or avenue. This is a really beautiful card to see here just because there's a lot of gentle energy. Not surprised to see. The deer jump out. The deer's keyword is gentleness. I'm going to ask that you primarily apply the sense of gentleness to yourself. Everything that we do for ourselves and to ourselves does have a ripple effect in the world, which is why it's so important for each and every one of us to reach ascension, to reach higher consciousness, to really help and heal ourselves and our bodies. And perhaps this is your focus this week. Perhaps you're recognizing the need for gentleness during these times of change, because the harder we are on ourselves, we can even see like you might even get results, right? Hard on yourself. Oh, you achieved something really great, but what was the cost? There's a price to that. Why don't we see what being gentle this week makes us feel, how it ripples around us, how it feels in long term, short term, and what it feels like at the end of it. Sometimes being gentle, I would even suggest this, being gentle is a strength. It is a particular kind of strength, and it sounds counterintuitive, but it's really not. It's about faith. It's about acceptance. It's kind of about this, right? Are you willing to be gentle with yourself during these changing times where perhaps you don't know, right? And some of the best things in the world that happen to us are things that we cannot even plan and that we can't even anticipate. But I think if you have faith in yourself, right? I think if you trust in yourself and in the highest goodness and in love and gentleness and all the good things that you want for yourself, that you've been working hard on for yourself and that are being brought to you, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised here to learn that gentleness really is a strength. And it'll be a go-to place for yourself in times of stress or trouble, that you'll find that gentleness is perhaps the fastest way to overcoming stress or overcoming grief or big changes, however that looks to you this week. Being forgiving. You don't have to forgive someone and let them keep doing it either. I don't mean that when I say forgiving. I just mean forgiving in the sense where you forgive that action. You don't even have to talk to that person again. You don't have to make excuses for people, right? You deserve to be treated well. But if someone keeps messing up or mucking with you, you need to tolerate that. You need to be gentle with yourself, fair with yourself, okay? It's really important this week, Scorpio. For some reason, you're going to feel tripped up this week. You're going to be hard on yourself, and it's going to be really unfair. And I'm going to ask that you take that opportunity and you have that conversation with yourself on some level. In a gentle way. Don't be mean to yourself or, give yourself a hard time over it. That's not what I mean. I think you know what I mean. It's a lovely reading in the sense where there's just general gentleness here. So emerging, you're coming out of something that was difficult into a higher level of awareness, consciousness, etc. Changes in friendships. You've grown beyond something, past something, surrendering and releasing. You no longer need that, whatever that is that's negative in your life. You can act and react to life and situations in a gentle way. So that there's no follow, so that at the end of it, you don't have to apologize. I'm sorry I blew up, or I'm sorry I said that, or, but if this is about you and about your internal world, it's just generally important to be gentle with yourself. It does include having a great deal of faith that good things will happen to you and for you, even though you don't know what's going to happen next. And here with the Fates card, I mean, come on. This is a karmic card. This could generally be a karma for you. You might be coming out of something that felt like bondage. Okay, and whatever, not the fun kind. I just mean a mental, emotional, a physical, a financial, business, etc. Sexual, even if it was that. I just mean there's a specific bondage here that feels like fate, feels like karma, that I think you're able to pull yourself out of this week. Or if this is not in your world and actually happening, this is something you may be contemplating this week. So wonderful. I hope that this was healing on some level for you, and I hope it resonated with you. And please make sure you subscribe. I upload weekly readings for your sign. And thank you so much for watching, Scorpio. Take good care of yourself. I will see you next time. Bye for now.